I'm gonna go car camping for the very first time, and it's in November in Canada, which means that I'm crazy because it's really not the best time to give this a try. However, I have been itching to get out and do some more things, to stretch myself, and car camping is 100% a stretch for me because I'm not really that much of an adventurous traveler. When we travel, I prefer like Airbnbs. I enjoy, some hotels, but if I'm going for like free accommodations, usually it's pet sitting where, you have a comfy bed, you have your amenities, and a house. But I really wanted to try something new. That is what this is. Anytime I watched people on YouTube doing something like this, pulling their car up or their van and just turn their lights off and going to sleep on a Walmart parking lot or in the wilderness or wherever it was, it just it seemed like they were pretty comfortable with it. However, as soon as I decided to go car camping and I had to start dealing with the details of where we're going to park, it became real and real uncomfortable. So I am now absolutely stretching myself, which is the point, so it's totally fine. That's my mom's dogs, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you my car camping setup. It's going to be pretty bare bones in comparison to my mom's. Hers is very nicely set up, just like fully decked out just about. Mine is like the very least amount of things that I need in my car because this is really just a test run. We're going for one night. I just want to see what it feels like, what it's like, and if I do find it's okay, then maybe I'll go again and I'll start getting more things. Actually, I'm borrowing a lot of things from my mom who wanted to do car camping in the past, and she's decided to join me because she hasn't been able to utilize her car camping stuff as much as she liked. We're gonna convoy it up north a little bit here in Ontario, and I do want to say I'm a little bit nervous about where we're staying. The location, it's a very popular place to go, and I'm a little surprised that you're able to go overnight for free and park there overnight for free. But apparently I've seen people say that you can, that there's RVs, people who stay there overnight, and so I do feel confident, about 78 to 80% confident, but I do feel confident enough to give it a try. Anyways, so let's get into seeing what our setup looks like. I'll show you the big reveal of where we're going because it's actually a really lovely place in Ontario. So let's get at it. Here is my basic setup. I'm going to put in a bed on this side. Here's just like my blankets and pillows. So I got to borrow some of those things from my mom. I just got my shades here. I got a couple to borrow from my mom as well. An extra bottle of water and a hat because it's going to be cold and I'm probably going to have to wear that for sleeping. I've set up these pillows here to just extend my bed a little bit. Then I have my bag here filled with all of my clothes, my camera gear. I have my little thing here filled with food. I don't really plan to eat out much, only one meal. And this is just my purse, water, and mug. That's it. That is literally all I will be taking with me and how basic the setup will be. So I will show you the full setup as soon as it's done. But I will show you a sneak peek into my mom's amazing setup. So much nicer. Well, here's my mom's car camping setup. Look at her beautiful quilt that she has. It's so lovely. And she has this whole organizer here for all of her stuff that she wants to bring. And there's your cute little puppy doggies. Hi. And there's another one. And there's another one back there too. They're not coming with us, even though I'm sure that they would love to. She's got a little table set up over there. Anyway, so really cute. She's done a really good job. Yeah,
I thought since yours is Santa Fe, it'll be fine, but no. Okay.
Boo!
Darn it.
Would just one of them be okay? Here, can you hold that?
Yep, I got it. How's that?
Yeah, that's better. So we got our
Putting the flashlight here.
battery power here. It's charged and it's ready for our phones and things. So that's good. So there we go. Here is my car camping setup. See, looks nicer with a bed. My mom nicely put in a little table for whatever reason. I'm not sure how I'll use it, but maybe I will. That's my bare bones setup.
My headspace been weaker, it's been waiting for the right day. Like the right day ever comes, now it's Friday and nothing's changed. Mistakes that everyone is making, but I can't change.
We are car camping at the beautiful Blue Mountain Village.
Gotta tap it up. Now I long for another.
We went to parking lot 2. It said no overnight stays, but you could go to parking lot 2A and do overnight parking there. So we thought, okay, well that'll work. So we went to P2A, and it was also had a sign saying that you couldn't park overnight there, but even on the same sign said that you can do overnight parking in that parking lot. So we're very confused. I tried calling, there's no one to talk to. Went to the activity center, it looked closed, but it looks like it might be open here. And hopefully we can find our way to finding a place to stay. It all worked out. We were able to talk with somebody in there, and they told us that the signs are just getting changed over, and so it was just a little mix-up. They said we could, so that's amazing. We have somewhere to stay tonight. That's not a Walmart parking lot. We did have a Walmart parking lot as a backup. That's about 10 minutes away, but this parking lot's actually so much better because it's kind of off to the side and all that kind of stuff. It'll actually be kind of probably quieter and darker and nicer. Things change so frequently, and it's actually really hard in Canada to be able to find free places to park, and we did at this amazing space, which we're excited about.
Now I long for another day where things fall into place. So if you're down, I'll be down. Pack your bags, fill them up. We can go tonight, take a flight to a higher ground. How does that sound? How does that sound? So strange, why it always feel like it's too late. Waiting another year and it's too late, but that's not true.
So we could go to Tim Hortons and buy a hot chocolate for $2 or $3, but instead we're gonna make our own hot chocolate, and it's a vegan hot chocolate. Yep. Vegan dark hot chocolate. Okay, we got some cinnamon. Hard to do at night. See stuff and do stuff. But at the same time, honestly, it kind of feels less awkward. That's, I think, your coffee. All right, and there we go. That'll be our vegan hot chocolate. We're gonna do some oat milk. Oh, that'll be good. I love oat milk. I'm doing the important work of recording this. I did not bring it and I did not make it. I can't take any credit for a single bit of this. Hi. Yes, hi people who are driving by probably thinking we're weirdos.
Yeah, I like it.
We're gonna go have some hot chocolate while we sit in the pretty downtown-y area, the city center area. Cheers. It's a whole other vibe here at night. It's so pretty. I feel like it's really nice to be here during the day and at night just to see the lights. Cinnamon and sugar beef tails. I think
Yummy.
they're very good. My favorite is usually the hazelnut spread, but this is actually really good because I'm not super hungry. It's not as rich. So I'm all set up. I have every window covered, and tape is your best friend when you're just kind of roughing it out here. I had to tape like everything to the window because I just didn't have it well prepared. These are actually magnet ones. But they just gap. They don't stick, they're not the right size for my windows. So I ended up having to like add pieces and tape them to the bottom. If ever I was going to do car camping as like a real thing, 100% I'd be getting appropriate window covers that are really easy to put on from the inside. So basically my mom and I just did all of this, like mostly from like the outside of the car. If anybody was watching, they would know that we were car camping in here. It would be pretty obvious to watch us do that. At least it was at night. Also, if you came over and looked, it would be pretty obvious because the covers are pretty ridiculous. They're very like Frankenstein. I'm pretty warm in here actually. I thought I was gonna be cold in here, and I'm under my blankets. I got all my layers right now, and actually I'm quite warm, so that's not a problem. So I'm gonna turn this light off in a minute. I'm going to call Nathan, my husband, just to fill him in, and then I'm gonna just chill for a bit. I will fill you in later on first impressions of car camping and what it's like to try to fall asleep and how much sleep I actually get. We'll see. Good night. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. This is the parking lot we slept in. They turned the lights off throughout the night. So I slept for about 5 hours last night, which is maybe a bit better than I expected to sleep. You know, it's uncomfortable, obviously, for your first time ever sleeping in a car. I think you kind of have to know that, even for me, if I go sleep in like a hotel room or something, I don't always sleep as well because it's not the usual, you know, it's something to get used to. Also, it's just different than sleeping in a bed anyways because you're in a car. So that's just understandable. One of the things that I do know is that if I were to try to do this more long term at all, or ever again even, I would want to create like a board or something that goes underneath the mattress that allows me to sleep level. Felt like I was slipping down the bed a lot last night. The sleeping bag that I had was really slippery, and so even it had me like slipping down the bed a little bit. I kind of wish that I'd gotten rid of it sooner. I'm still warm enough without it. All right, well, I'm up, I'm dressed, and I'm eating my morning muffin. I'm actually kind of glad that I decided to bring like a muffin for breakfast because it's very cold and rainy outside. Well, let's see what it looks like, shall we? Yeah. So, it's actually kind of hard to see the rain, but I promise you, it is just kind of rainy and dreary out there. A muffin it is. It's actually kind of cozy in here. I don't mind the bed being lower. I think my mom might feel a bit squished because her bed's pretty high. There's no way she's sitting up in it. No cops came knocking at her door. No one tried to rob us, so I call it a win, you know? Cheers. I think I could do this if I needed to, like with a proper setup. If I was to rate it for like free accommodation options, I would give it a 6, maybe. You know what? It's probably better than a tent. Because a tent, you still have to kind of like be outside, set this whole thing up. The wall, like there's no real walls. Like in the winter and the cold weather, it's so much harder to sleep in a tent, obviously. I mean, people kind of do winter camping that way, but this would still be far more comfortable. But I mean, like, if I can just go and pet sit for somebody or something, I would far rather have a house to stay in than a car. But this is more adventurous, and it gets me to more remote places probably. I don't have to wait for something to come up in a certain area. So for example, I have been looking to see if I can get some pet sitting opportunities here in Collingwood, and there haven't been any that came up. So this was an option for me, and it was free. And like the village has places that you can rent for sure, but you know, you're spending a good $300 to $500 or more per night to stay there. Definitely more luxury if you want to do that, but I didn't want to spend $300 or $500 or whatever dollars to do that. I'm quite happy to just be here. So for those who just don't have the big budget and want to be able to get around and want to be able to travel, or like want to even just be able to do a bit of road tripping and things like that, and you just don't have the money to spend on accommodations, but you do have the vehicle that's big enough to do this sort of thing, I say give it a go. I think it's worth a try. Just make sure you have the right setup. Solid 6.5. Here are a few lessons learned from car camping for the very first time. One, I actually didn't mind my minimalist setup. It was really good for just giving it a go, and I feel like it worked well just to even learn about what I might like or need next time. Two, I absolutely want to make sure I have a good straight bed, because sleeping on an angle just doesn't work for my back and hips. I don't need a sleeping bag, like, unless it has like a nice cloth inside. I don't need a sleeping bag. Proper window covers like are absolutely essential to invest in if you plan to go carb camping more than like the one time that I went. I'd want a better battery than the one that I used that my mom had. If you're gonna go for a few days at a time, you really need something more robust than a tiny little battery like that. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be to go carb camping in November. I mean, it's rainy today, but yesterday we got some good walking in around the village. It was great. And I was cold at night, but mostly just like my face was a bit cold, but that's about it. In fact, it's easier in cold weather to, you know, just put more blankets on to warm up than it is to be in hot weather and not really have a whole lot you can do about it, because powering an AC or powering a fan can take up a lot more battery. All in all, car camping is cool. It was more comfortable to be in this car, and I felt more secure than I thought I would. This was a very interesting way to push myself out of my boundaries, enjoying Blue Mountain Village and doing it on a very cheap budget. Would you go car camping? Is this something that you think that you could do? I will see you every further mile.